We'll come back anyway.
Again, clearly, it's great to have you here, Tim, and I hope that you put your recollections, which are obviously very accurate, that you put them on paper for the future. Because far too often we read so-called history books that we've even seen that we can see the inaccuracies ourselves. So it'd be very important that a person like yourself, who has no agenda, only recalling the facts, and you made such a contribution, and you were very generous in your mention of so many other people, and you mentioned quite rightly the people, your list of people was not exhaustive.
Yes, exactly.
And I think you emphasised that.
No, absolutely.
And I'm very glad that you mentioned Dermot Gallagher. After Dermot left the public service, I used to meet him the odd time at football matches.
Of course, yeah.
In
still holding the candle for Leitrim.
Yes, in Park, Sean McGeer, and Breffney Park and elsewhere. And you also mentioned this, the ceasefire in July 1997. I remember where I was that day at Ulster Final in Clones, which Cavan won, of course, was very important.
For the record.
Never forget that.
We don't win enough of them, but your county's on a high with hurling at the moment, Tim, and it's great to see such athleticism and such quality and skill in hurling. Could I just make a few points, if I go for the few minutes clearly? Could I just say, you mentioned the centrality of the two governments have a good, close working relationship and being understanding of each other's problems and that. And I think if there's not that generosity between the different sides and understanding it and that synergy of working together, I think we're in real difficulty. My colleague Senator Niall just touched on people will mention as time for review of the Good Friday Agreement, whatever. I think we should never forget the fact it was a very hard-won agreement. It was endorsed by 94.4% of the people in our state, by 71.1% of the people in Northern Ireland, and that was at a time when the DUP were opposing it. So it was. So it won overwhelming endorsement from the people of this country. And the one thing that I say is the mandate that all of us have on this island in politics is to implement the Good Friday Agreement. It's the only day since 1918 that we voted on the same question on the same day throughout our island. So I think we have to treasure and always hold uppermost in our minds, those of us who are privileged to be in public life and to be in elected office, is that we have a mandate to implement that agreement. And we know there are difficulties at the minute, and unfortunately there are aspects of the Good Friday Agreement that are not working, and we can rehash why that's happening, when that's not the purpose of our exercise today. But one thing I think that we miss out on the narrative at the present time, and it concerns me a bit, is that we don't have in our commentary the huge positives for all of this island from the workings of the Good Friday Agreement today. And I think of the All-Ireland economy. Yes. That is evolving and is growing without any electioneering or any political sloganeering or any flags being waved. People, you mentioned about business groups have talked now in the context of All-Ireland development. But the people who create the jobs, the enterprises themselves, they've gone on and created the jobs, north and south, and on an all-Ireland basis. And it's great today that we have such a movement of people, north, south, south, north, working and accessing services. And you know, the fact that the nationalities and border bill introduced by the British government is of concern to us. It's of concern to us because we don't want restriction of movement of people on this island. And when I see in my own constituency, two of the southern Ulster counties, I see the movement of people north, south on a daily basis. And I see so many people who have not Irish or British citizenship, travelling across the border, working in key jobs, be it healthcare, hospitality, or whatever. And I think that's a mark of the success of the Good Friday Agreement, in that we have that economic development which has benefited every parish throughout our island. So I think at times we need to reflect on the huge benefits that we derive on a daily basis from the Good Friday Agreement. But just in conclusion, I hear very much what Tim says in relation to the role of George Mitchell as well. It was inspirational that he was chosen as chair. He had huge access to the administration in America. He was one of the senior political figures, and I'm sure that was useful when calls had to be made to President Clinton and Senator Ted Kennedy and others. But I just say that I sincerely hope that you and colleagues like you put on record your recollections of how the Good Friday Agreement came about, its modus operandi, and the many benefits that all of us enjoy from that great work undertaken by governments and political parties at that time. Thank you, Cahill.